Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is April 9th, 2024. You're listening, watching the Daily AI Show live. And today we are talking about the AI gadgets. This was sort of inspired off of a recent Verge article that I read. And it was talking about, will this be essentially like the cell phone race before the iPhone came out? We had everything from flip phones to razors to BlackBerrys to everything else, and 20 other ones that I don't even remember, but I'm sure I did at the time when they came out. And are we sort of getting into that same fun AI gadget race before it's all consolidated, maybe back on the iPhone again? It just kind of goes out and goes in. So there's a bunch of them out there. Before we jump into that, I'm going to tell you what we have today. We have Beth, Andy, Karl, and I'm Brian. And I think there's a few that we want to talk about today. So I'm going to give just a list, but we could certainly add more to this, and then we can dive into any which one. So today we're going to be talking about the Rabbit R1. We're going to be talking about the AI pin from Humane. We're going to be talking about the O1 project. We're going to be talking about one of the only ones that actually exists is out in the marketplace, the Ray-Ban Meta glasses that are out and actually have reviews on them. People have used them. They work. So that makes them a little different than a lot of these other ones that we don't know yet. We have the Brilliant glasses. That Brilliant Labs is the name of the company. We have Plod. Plod is something we don't talk about a lot, but I personally know quite a few people who use Plod, and that's a device that can sort of snap, maybe magnetically go on the back of your phone, and it'll transcribe using GPT-4. I know quite a few people using that. And then we may even look way into the future if we have time about what Apple is doing with their eyeglasses and when they might come out. And we can also talk about what Sam Altman and Johnny Ive have recently talked about, or not really talked about, what their device is. It's not going to be a phone. That's about as much as we know, but we can talk about what that might become. So lots of different devices. I tried to do some research before we started, guys, and Andy, is the Rabbit R1 the next one that should land? I believe the Humane one said shipping on the 15th, but I think Rabbit might beat it, correct?
I think Rabbit will hit the first deliveries probably before, but mine's likely to come in 2 weeks. That's
2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
And did anybody else, Beth or Karl, did you guys order them as well?
No, it's sat in the cart, but it eventually did not call my name.
It spoke to me. It spoke to me, and I decided to do it.
Well, why don't we go ahead and share the screen really quick? And actually, Andy, you know what would be great is I'm going to share the screen, but I would love to know. We talked about this a little bit, but you're 2 weeks out, right? So why did it speak to you? What are you most excited about? And then what I would also love to know is, what are you most worried about that it won't do that you're hoping it would? So let me share this screen. We'll show it really quick here. And you know what? I'm just going to share my window so we can just flip back and forth. I don't think we need audio for AVs. This is the screen. And then Beth had just shared this before we went live, which is what I guess it is going to look like in its packaging. And Beth, you mentioned that it sort of has that old Game Boy sort of style and feel to it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, Andy. Go ahead and tell us what makes you excited about the Rabbit R1.
Okay, you see on the device, there's a gimbal-mounted camera up there. And I'm just totally curious and fascinated by what the design decisions were and what the use case applications were that caused them to add this motorized gimbal-mounted camera in this device. Now, there's some obvious things. It can rotate fully, and take different angles depending on, you have this thing in your hand. Well, the motorized AI-powered camera can track, just like the AI pins camera can track. But AI pins camera is using, I think, a wide field of view without this motorized redirection of it. But that allows you to hold this device in different orientations, whereas the camera on the Humane pin is a higher resolution camera, 13 megapixel, but it is it's mounted on your chest, and so it's just taking a view of whatever's in front of you. Now, so there's that. And you can do video calling with the rabbit. So that's interesting. How's that going to work? The company says that camera enables advanced computer vision applications. And without providing a lot of specifics about what this is. So it's really it's going to be an unboxing and discovery process to a large degree. And by the way, the camera has a privacy feature, which is when you're not using the camera specifically, you don't request by your voice commands or by that clicking capability on the scroll wheel there. It goes to a position that does not retrieve any visual information, so it can be put into a privacy mode. So that's pretty special. That part of it is really what intrigued me. But more importantly, all of these devices are being equipped with the AI side of it that is capable of multi-step actions. And that's unlike what you have in the smartphone interface with GPTs. There you're basically asking a question or asking a follow-up question and getting a text response. But in these devices, they've designed them from the beginning, both the AI pin from Humane and Rabbit R1 and O1 Lite from Open Interpreter. All of them are agent-like in the respect that you can give them instructions and they'll follow a series of steps in order to achieve that objective. So I'm excited about Rabbit. I'm still open to the possibility that I'll be ultimately disappointed, but I don't think so. I think there's a real place for embodied, specialized hardware that really takes best advantage of what the capabilities of agentic AI large language models are.
And do you see this? Go ahead, Beth. Go ahead.
I love the idea of I did not clock that, but that the camera will spin up. Right. So that you can see, it's not just like, trust us, we're not doing anything. Yeah. It's like, no, I can't see anything. I'm looking at the plastic thing that's above me. That's very cool.
I mean, for somebody like my wife, she's I'll leave my phone laying around wherever, but my wife is definitely more concerned with that and just the idea of her phone. And so she will put a phone in another room if she feels like she's having a more, private conversation or something like that. And it's not something I do, but I can definitely see why something like that would be valuable to people. There's just that idea is we get more cameras on things, flipping it up, like you said, Beth. So it's not just like, yep, it's off, we're not doing anything with this camera, that kind of thing. Okay. So that one comes out in a couple of weeks, it sounds like. I don't know, Andy, you'll be the first for it to land at, but regardless, 2 weeks is nothing at this point. So we'll obviously have a whole lot more to talk about. Maybe depending on how great it is, we'll do a whole show on the Rabbit. I think that'd be cool to talk about it. So
I'll show you. Show and tell.
Yeah, show and tell. There's a pickup party.
Even if it's not great, just remember our buddy, our co-friend here, Tyler. He bought 4. So if it's not great, that's 4 times that. But he's also very bullish on it and about the ideas of it and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. And I should mention too. Let me just go back here really quick. If I go to pre-order, I want to make sure I get this correct. Yes. So the price of the Rabbit R1 is $199, and I think importantly here, no subscription required. A lot of these other devices do require a subscription, which obviously at like $50 a month or something would significantly change your cost over time, right? For something like that. So if it's just $199 once, I got to say you got a good shot at something like that being like really, really valuable. All right. Any other thoughts on the Rabbit? Otherwise, we'll move on to maybe another one here. Go ahead.
So I remember there was one. There wasn't someone on X just posted, I think within a month or two or a couple weeks, they put the entire Rabbit system on their phone, and then they kind of was just mulling about with it. So not that Apple will do it, but you can see that it's not very much of a leap to put this thing on a device that we already own.
Yeah, I think that was always sort of my initial thought. And I also think that I didn't realize I may not be the target audience necessarily for this particular device, because I do think there's a lot, obviously, to people wanting the physical device in their hand and something that's tactile and stuff. And so, yes, it maybe could be on a phone, but it may not have the same cultural movement to it or something like that. People just may really like having it and using it, and you may see it showing up in more YouTube videos where people are doing skateboard tricks or something like that, and it may become something that just a lot of people actually do want to own, and they wouldn't want it on their phone. So it'll be interesting to see. The next one I have up on the screen here is the AI pin, and that's by a company named Humane, HUMANE.com. And right off the bat, we can kind of see I have it up on the screen. One of the things you'll notice right off the bat is it is not $199. This particular device starts at $699, and looks like they have two other options that are $799, high gloss, polished chrome. It appears that it may be just the metal that it's using, the difference in price. I don't see anything else that makes it look like why it's $100 more. So it's kind of like the iPhones, where if you want the Gorilla Glass or something, it may cost you a little more for it. I'm not sure.
Because this one is also jewelry in a way, right? So you're paying for the higher price of the aesthetic.
Which makes me wonder why it doesn't have snap-on fronts to it and stuff like that, because, it may blend in well in black and then look weird in white or something like that, depending on what you're wearing it on. Also, I don't know. I mean, you guys may know, is it just a magnetic pin on the back of the shirt? And also, I'd be curious how much it weighs, because I'm curious if it will tug or pull down on the shirts and make it look like it's sagging a little bit. I mean, those are obviously just aesthetic things. But what's your guys' take on the Humane? And while you guys are talking about it, I'm going to see the subscription details of $24 a month plus taxes and fees. Billing begins once you activate your AI pin. Again, it's $700 base. So 700 plus 24, you're rated for another $300 a year for your subscription model on it. So it's an investment for sure. And while you guys are kind of giving your thoughts, I'm going to see if I can find when it ships here.
Isn't it it's for the Humane with it has to be on, or you have to turn it on? And I think it's just what is it called? It's it's at the tip of my tongue here. What's the word? It's something that you have to remember to put on every single piece of clothing or wherever you put every single time. So it's I will bring my phone with me, but I also will need to attach this Humane pin everywhere I go. So it's sort of a new behavior that you have to turn into a habit to put on everything that you do, right? So it's I need to put it on, in Canada, it's it's really cold. So, I'll have my down jacket, but then I'll put the Humane pin on top of the down jacket. So it's a brand new thing. And that's where I was really, really skeptical about it, because you see all the images, right? It's I'm walking down the street and it's summer and it's fine. Mm-hmm. But in Canada, when we have 4 to 6 months where you have jackets and it's snowing, when you're taking out the recycling, do you put it on and then you take it off and then you put it back on? It's a whole new set of remembering that you have to put this on. And that's
a good point. I think, I don't want to lose the AI pin, right?
Yes, you don't want to lose the AI pin.
So am I going to, keep it very precious and use it only at certain times, or is it going to be my omnipresent companion? So you're pointing out some issues around that I think are really important. I don't want to have to add an air tag to it to be able to find my AI pin.
Yes, exactly. So the first thing I thought of is I need to attach an air tag to my Humane.
But let's just glorify the AI pin as a marvel of miniaturized engineering. I mean, this thing is amazing. It has a touchpad. It has a laser projection display and a 13 megapixel camera that guides the laser projected display. It can see what it's projecting. And if you move your hand around, then the laser aligns with your hand and follows your hand. Plus, that camera can also recognize hand gestures, and that's one of the principal ways that you interact with AI Pin. Amazing. And then, of course, it's a premium AI assistant. So if you're into AI, I think eventually you're going to find your way to something like this. If they can, it's potentially a niche market because it's so expensive. But
right.
I covet it. I would like an AI Pin. I just can't bite the bullet for the pricing at this point.
By the way, I just happened to go to the site here, and of course we had the Eclipse yesterday.
Yeah.
and they had an Eclipse thing, but in the commercial on this, if you just go to humane.com, the lady's literally looking up at the Eclipse, which is like the number one thing they say don't do. I mean, she's barely blocking it. I mean, she's supposed to turn it around so she can see the AI projection on her hand, which is kind of silly. But I wonder about those choices.
Yeah, I want to see I want to see the TikTok on the what expectation reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. It's cool. You know where I think this will find a home, honestly, are conventions. Like what I mean is like there's just people because of the sales jobs, because they're marketing or whatever, they have to do the convention circuit because of what they sell as a business or whatever. And they're going to stand in booths and they're going to try to capture people's attention. And I definitely see this. I mean, maybe the Rabbit too, where I could see a device like this being worth it to a company at $700 plus the $300 plus subscription. Because it quite literally would draw people to your booth, and you're trying to get lag time so you could talk to them about your solutions and stuff like that. And I mean, quite honestly, if you were able to like project it on your hand and other people are seeing it, even if they're asking about this particular device, I 100% could see this being a really, really cool way to capture people's attention. I know if I saw somebody wearing it on a convention, expo floor, I would definitely go up and ask about it. I'd be like, what can it do other than the weather? And, like, where would this be good? And, you're supposed to have like the pinching feature to it in order to change and zoom things in and out and stuff like that. So another one where I did find it on the website while you guys were talking, and it said first shipments mid-March. I have not heard of anybody, nor have I seen any like Matt Wolf videos or anything where they're like, I have one. So soon, I guess. I don't know whether it will be out before.
That got pushed back. What you're saying about the convention makes me wonder, is there like a law enforcement or military aspect to this? Because this is certainly smaller than a body cam and a I don't know, walkie-talkie. That's probably not what they use now, but whatever it is called. This is smaller than any of those things. I haven't heard anything about that. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but body cams are a thing anyway. So,
those military and or law enforcement body cams. A colleague of mine, Jazz Dillon, was at the company that developed that. Of
course,
it's the same company that does tasers, right? Oh. So that company had as a spinoff for the police market, the wearable body cam. But why this wouldn't work in that context is there's an important chain of custody of evidence that has to be managed on the back end, for police cams anyway. But this could be your own personal body camera. And of course, there's a lot of people now who are pulling out their phones and filming interactions with police and or with other, Karens and so on. You can see those on social media. AI Pin makes that a lot less obtrusive than holding up a camera phone. And I think that, you're going to see a lot more video collection among those people who are using the AI Pin. So I wanted to just tie something together here, which is, this is a very sophisticated and haute design device, and it looks like the Apple of this, while the Rabbit is kind of the Nintendo of AI devices. This is developed by Imran Chaudhry, who was the director of design at Apple, involved with the Macintosh, the iPod, the iPad, the Apple Watch, and the iPhone. And so his colleague Bethany Bongiorno was the director of software engineering at Apple at the same time. The two of them got together to build this company. and they've raised tons of money, and this thing is going to be impressive. Just like the Apple Vision Pro is impressive, but the oi polloi like us may not be able to access them for economic reasons. But now tie this to Joni Ive and Sam Altman, who've announced their $1 billion fundraising to develop an AI device. So now you have the chief design officer of Apple saying, okay, I'm going to do a device with Sam Altman, who's like rapidly approaching the richest person in the world, I'm sure. And together they're going to do something that is going to be, competitive with the AI pin, I believe.
Yeah.
And that what all we really know there is a lot of, speculation and things. All we know is that it says Ivy and Altman are hoping to raise at least $1 billion for the new company, whether that is completely separate from OpenAI or not, I don't know. But that's interesting that it's not necessarily going to be on an OpenAI product, although who knows? And let's see, it doesn't say anything else here on that. This is something that's been in the news since late 2023 talking about it, but we really don't know much about it. Okay, in the interest of time, I want to keep moving here, but I do, before I move on to some of these glasses, because that's kind of the next section here, I want to bring up Jennifer's comment, which is, I've written about a host of privacy issues with this. The always-on nature presents a problem regarding recording people without consent. And Jennifer, I'll be the first to say I'm certainly not well versed in the laws and stuff. But I agree with you, and in fact, that's a good segue to the Ray-Ban Meta, because I went and actually read a review, and it was on Wired, and it was about a gentleman, I believe, in the UK. Let's see if I'm correct. Maybe not. May have been a female. I'm not sure. I can't tell who wrote it. I'm looking for it. But regardless, walked around with it. Jennifer, to your point, they were saying that the writer was saying that when they told people about it, there was almost like a universal disdain for the idea of sort of what you're saying, Jennifer, about this like idea of always on recording. Now, at the same time, I don't know about everywhere in the world, but I know that it is perfectly fine, I believe, to be in public places and record. So whether that's actually a consent issue or not, if you're standing in the middle of a public square and you're using one of these devices and you're recording freely, I don't know how that's any different than, the YouTube channels where people walk around the Disney parks and record and stuff like that. They're not being told they can't record. So it'd be interesting to see where those lines are now. If you go in and sit down at a restaurant, are you on private property at that point? Where do the lines go? In every country, the EU, I'm sure, has different laws. I don't know, but I think it's a solid point. I appreciate you bringing it up, Jennifer, which is like, you're right. This brings up a lot of issues. And are people really going to start editing themselves when they see somebody walk up? If Beth walks up to me and I know she's got these Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses on, I may start to quickly edit what I would or would not say to Beth, because now I have to assume I'll always be recording. With that said, and then we could talk about this, that's exactly what I tell my daughter right now anyway. Like at 13, I have to remind her, like, you just have to assume everything you're doing can be or might be recorded, and you should act accordingly to that, because that's just a part of our world, and it's definitely going to be a part of her life. Ours as well. But, if you're 13, she's going to live in a society where anybody might be recorded at any time. And, that's going to have to be part of it. So what's your guys' take on, like the Ray-Bans ones are out now. But then obviously we have the Brilliant is the other one. And that's I'm showing that on the screen now. They definitely look different, and they're more of an AI tool than the Ray-Ban ones are. So what do you guys think on these?
I was not pro Ray-Ban when it first came out, but I have warmed up to it. I don't have them, but I can see more opportunities. Like I'm seeing people post like, hey, I went on a hike, right? Like this is the story of my hike. These are the cool things that I got to see. And the idea that you could do that without needing to put a ton of effort into it, like you just put on your glasses. In terms of like the difference between the two, I'm not sure. like they're both kind of cool, but the Bright or whatever those other ones are called, I think you can put your own prescription in them, which makes that a little more appealing to me, I think, as someone who wears glasses.
So as someone who also has wears contacts, so the thing with the glasses though is I don't really want to be wearing my glasses, and then I don't want to be having to buy this. So what I'm probably going to do is only buy this. It doesn't make sense to have this plus your glasses plus your contacts. It just isn't you won't be using them all at the same time. So I think, and I have one of those crazy astigmatism prescriptions that can this actually accommodate it without totally making my eyes go like this. So
they'll definitely look like that. So my history with glasses and sunglasses tells me that the lifespan of the lenses on any pair is 3 weeks, until they're so scratched up and my wife's saying, what's on your glasses? I'm nothing, but they're all scratched up. So I lose them as often as I mess them up. I just don't know that I would find that to be a utilitarian device. Whereas I can see, having something in my pocket and or attached to my chest, those are a little better, I think, than glasses. I have to take my glasses off for various reasons 100 times a day. That would probably be the case with these, AI glasses as well.
True.
And they are. I will say this: that the Ray-Ban Meta glasses and the Brilliant Labs glasses are pretty drastically different. For instance, Ray-Bans are first and foremost sunglasses. They had built-in speakers, which, by the way, the reviewer in that Wired article said the speakers were amazing. They really, really were. They weren't bone
conduction.
Right. But they felt like they were, and they said they were in generally noisy places. Were able to carry on a conversation a la Bluetooth. I will tell you, for me, I wear sunglasses. I have since I was a teenager. I wear sunglasses. Dark days, light days, I don't care. I always have sunglasses. It really kind of hurts my eyes ever since I had the LASIK surgery, 25 years ago, to not have. So I have just a sensitivity to the light. So I wear sunglasses all the time. I also live in Florida, so it's sunny here all the time. I will tell you, the speakers alone would be worth it. I don't want the camera per se, but I would love a pair of Ray-Bans, and they do make stuff like that have built-in sound and stuff. So I know that's not necessarily revolutionary. Now, the Brilliant Labs, as we're seeing here on the screen, for anybody that happens to be watching this, they're showing heads-up display, essentially. They're showing text over, identifying national monuments, per se. You look at the national monument, it tells you right there in your heads-up display what you're looking at. So different deal. Also doesn't have speakers, by the way. So it's not really in that same area. So really,
you're saying it has a visual display that is augmented reality, but it doesn't. You can't do voice interaction with the AI.
It says, I looked on the. I'm going to look really quick. Where did that go? What's that?
And does anyone know when this Brilliant Labs is going to ship?
Let's find out. So let me just find it real quick. Here we go. Shipping. First batch ships April 15th, which is next week. Are there speakers? There is no speaker. For audio, we recommend using regular wireless earbuds paired with the phone. So no, there's not, which is interesting. But it's just interesting, where they're going with it as far as the specifications of the Brilliant ones.
So no speaker, but is there a mic? Right? So how do you? Yeah,
is it connected via Bluetooth to? You have to have a phone with Bluetooth earbuds in and the AI. I'm confused by this one.
I'm getting that impression.
There's definitely a market for this, but it is, I think, maybe not us.
This says allowing you to receive answers to questions about what you're currently looking at.
So you must.
But I think you have to wear the earbuds to pull that off, or you would have to talk in
it sounds like it has an app on the phone. And this
Right.
is another Bluetooth connection to your phone, and the app interacts with the glasses and provides some visual display, and the cameras on the glasses are providing some input to that app. So I can see it being workable. It would work into my current mode of always having my smartphone, my iPhone with me at all times. I'm nervous as heck whenever I put it down and I can't find it. So the combination of these glasses and the phone might be a more versatile combination than Ray-Ban glasses in some respects.
Okay. Well, we're running towards the end here, but I want to bring up, we've hit most of them, but I want to hit two more really quick. I'll do this one super quick. This is Plod, Plaud, not Plod. I know it sounds very similar, but it's Plod. And this is just a device. It's not super high tech, honestly. It's a device that you can just put on the back of your phone. This kind of goes back to what Jennifer's saying about privacy and whether people know that their phone calls are being transcribed and so on and so forth. But that's what it does. It sits on the back of the phone. I actually have friends that use this in sales and whatnot, and it does actually a very good job of listening right through whatever the frequencies or the vibrations are. It will transcribe right through the back of the phone, or you can just hold it in front of you and do like voice note transcription as if you were like a doctor or something. And then it uses GPT-4 to do some quick transcriptions. It'll do call summaries, the stuff that we would be used to having inside GPT if we copy and paste it. But this has a subscription model, and I think it probably does it right on the app, maybe. So just wanted to bring this up because it's interesting, but I also know that it's actually out in the wild, and I know people who use it and like it. So worth bringing it up, even if it's not per se high tech as far as AI goes. It's still in this realm.
I've got some more as well. I want to run through, but go ahead and get your other one out there.
This is the last one. And you guys talked about this one a little bit, so you know more than me. But this is the Open Interpreter 01 Lite. And this is the device that you could hold in your hand, but it allows you to voice interface with your home computer. This is another one where I really do not see the need for it, but I also know that other people are excited about it. So do you guys have any thoughts on this one real quick?
I pre-ordered that because I think like that.
I did too.
Same.
It's less about, hey, I think everyone will have it. It's more of like, it's one of those, like, to me, it's like the I would say the Atari of the Xbox and the PlayStation now, where like instead of you on your computer, it's like a physical agent that tells your computer, hey, I need you to do this. I need this. And it's what the hope of what Siri was, what everyone thought it would be. It's like connect Siri to Mac OS and then do whatever. Maybe Siri, that comes out in June, but this is sort of like with the O1, and you can build your own, but I really want to see how it works and it's kind of inexpensive. So, and it's just one. So I was like, I'll definitely check this out. And there's no like monthly fee and stuff. So
what's the price on it? 99 plus 10 shipping. So 109 all in for it. So yeah, it is inexpensive. Yeah. It looks like a fat Apple AirTag, like we were just talking about, like a little, little mini custom bar of soap or something like that is what it looks like. Yeah.
So it's really the interface of it, right? Because it's doing things that your computer can do. And I have tried to make the computer do them, and I'm totally willing to spend $99 to talk to a little like white thing in my hand and say, watch what I'm doing, and then do it. Right?
Yeah.
That is 100% worth that $100 because I have spent more than $100 of my own time trying to make some things happen.
Yeah. So
anyway, you got?
I've ordered as well. I'm one of the trio here. We're going to get the 01 Lite. That thing in your hand, that device is just the voice interface to your computer, right? And it bypasses otherwise using a microphone on your desktop. But I see this being really, really practical and useful for people who sit at workstations as we do for a good part of the day, and providing an agent that can operate almost any software on your machine. And so, we're going to be experimenting with it, and we'll show you how that works. So for this show, it's all about gadgets, right? AI empowered gadgets. So we're talking about AI devices for most of the show, which are AI embodiments. Like, so now I carry around something that's truly AI for my use. But there are also a bunch of devices out there that are getting AI implanted in them. And so I want to list a few. There's an AI powered toothbrush from Clean X Ultra, which apparently gives you signals through the bone conduction of the device in your mouth to help you brush your teeth better. Okay, That's a cool one. There's an AI-powered Perfecta grill from Sear Grill that learns over time how better to cook your steaks.
Right.
Well, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not interested in that one. There's AI processor built into LG OLED TVs now that will enhance the image. Yeah. So you're adding AI to TVs. And then there's an AI-powered baby cry translator app by Capella. Okay, so that's very interesting.
It's only one of three things.
So here's the winner, though. This is the winner: the Oro dog companion robot.
Good.
Okay, I had never heard of this before I did this. Thank you, Perplexity. So it's an autonomous companion robot for your dog. It navigates the home with the dog.
It's for your dog.
Dogs. Oh, it's for the dogs. Okay.
No.
It's got an advanced camera and LiDAR mapping, so it's like a Roomba that's wandering around. It tags along with the dog. It'll follow the dog, and it has two-way audio and video.
Oh, my God.
And so you can watch and interact with the dog. Plus, it has a food dispenser built into it, so it can provide rewards as well as feed on schedule. So all of that together, including a robot arm ball thrower.
Okay.
So that it can play tag and catch with the dog. That is brilliant. Here we go.
So
dog
those
companion.
last two are reasonable, but those things don't give any dog body language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just this alien thing that is following you everywhere around the house. And periodically your person that you adore's voice comes out of it, right? So, like, I mean, what story is a dog telling itself? Now, if it provides food and ball throwing, the dog may be like, oh, you're on your own. That's pretty cool. But like, I know people who've gotten like realistic dog puppets, and it's like the dog is just like, I don't know. I don't want to be in a room with that.
Don't be a hater. This robot would have saved me having to get another dog for the dog that was stuck in the house all the time.
and you guys know I'm not a pet person, but what I like about it is, like, you didn't say there was also a cat companion, because I cannot imagine a cat up with that.
I mean, like,
chasing me, following me around stuff. I could see a cat just, giving it one solid swipe down the stairs, and that's the end of the companion. And the cat goes on its merry way. Did we miss any other gadgets you guys want to mention before we wrap up? Any else out there? Okay.
I think before we talk about gadgets, I think what we probably haven't talked about is current gadgets that will have AI built into them eventually. I don't know. I probably list a whole bunch of things that we wear or do or have that, like, these companies that'll attach it, or like you'll see the knockoffs. I feel like within a year or two, you'll see a whole swath of knockoffs saying that they have some sort of AI built into it. Maybe they do, but I think we're going to see a deluge of all these things that you could buy anywhere that'll cost you nothing and will barely work.
Yeah.
It's the new AI calculator. How does it add the numbers? It's AI magic.
That's right.
We'll have ChatGPT built into the calculator, and then it'll be an AI calculator. That's what exactly.
Hey, I want to say thank you to both Jen and Jennifer. We have two Jennifers, Jen and Jennifer, and everything. Thank you, Jennifer, for all your insightful comments as far as AI privacy, data privacy. What happens if people don't know they're being recorded? Is that the same thing as somebody holding up a phone and they think they're being recorded? I totally agree with that. You made a lot of great points. If somebody's if people let something roam their house with a camera, where does the data go? I think all solid points. Thank you, Jennifer. And I do like this comment, as always, from Jen, who's always so sweet to leave comments. I can barely focus on life when my classes don't feed me a bunch of information. Thoughts and prayers to the easily distracted. There's a lot to that. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you guys so much. By the way, also Jennifer mentioned that she has, and I want to give her a quick shout out here. Give me 1 second.
Silent witness. Yeah.
Silent witnesses. If you want to see more about what Jennifer's talking about in terms of maybe data privacy, go check out Silent Witnesses. And Jennifer's last name is Stivers. If you want to go find her on LinkedIn, I'm sure she would appreciate that. And you can have more discussions. I know I will be doing the same. So that's it for today. Tomorrow's the news. Then we'll be back on Thursday talking about Elon Musk.
No.
Elon's Musk. Elon's Musk.
Man. It started with E. Brian.
We're sorry, Ethan. We know exactly who you are.
Yeah, he's our buddy. We've already said it. He's our pal. Ethan Malick's book. We'll be talking about that on Thursday, and then Friday we're talking about Hyperwrite, which kind of goes into that whole idea of the O1 light and getting your computer to do things and take commands. So that'll be on Friday's show. That should be super, super interesting. Until then, have a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the news. Bye.